such call-in occurs on a holiday, section 1605 of this agreement shall apply. Over in the margin, I've got, there is no section 1605. I don't know. There's something missing. You gave me this lead way back when I came to
Or
board.
is that section 1605 of a labor law?
Well, perhaps, well, I think it means of this agreement, but here it goes to 1604. There is no 1605, so.
You got 1605?
I don't have mine.
I got mine in my desk.
I mean, there's a copy in the office, Leanne's got a copy in there.
Totally crap.
Well,
That came up.
yeah.
It's considered essential.
They may have a whole, I mean, they work on this stuff, you know, every day.
Well, they have professionals doing it.
Right, well, and they've got, and they'll have the COVID section probably, which will work to our detriment. All right.
Well, I think their complaint with the part-time was if we hired somebody that was gonna drive truck or anything, because we got rid of an MEO who was driving truck, running equipment. So if we were to, and in the past, we had hired some, part-time help in the summer as CDL. So I think that was the crux, because they did mention that early on, and I think they said it to Chris too, if I remember correctly. So, you can't just cut back a position and then get around it by hiring part-time help to do exactly the same thing. So I think that was where they were going with that.
So when this all come about, I had Chris call the limit. Right? I go, okay. If we can't get a part-time guy, can I have the county or another town come in and help me on the stone, right? Shared service. Is that gonna cause a problem? And Linda come back and said, no. You gotta get your work done. So right there's a statement.
Yeah, I know.
To get your work done, but you gotta pay so much for a part-time guy.
What have we been paying a part-time guy?
We paid what, 15 last
15,
year?
I think it was.
That was for the CDL.
Yes.
It was Crosby, right? Is that Crosby?
That and,
Calvin.
yeah, Crosby and Calvin Clark.
But that was the first time we've had, well, maybe not the first, but in a long time, that we've had somebody with a CDL.
But nobody was a
So
CDL.
those would be MEOs that don't have a CDL.
No, they wouldn't be.
So this only pertains to
So-
persons designated as MEO. So we can hire a part-time guy as long as he's not designated as an MEO. I mean, we have Mr. Miles, who's a contractor,
But
but
that's different because it's a
that's
contract
just
for
strictly for
something else.
cemeteries.
But we may want to think about defining part-time help in there.
Defining new hire, yeah.
Sure. So,
That's the only thing really we can go on right now is that new hire, right? I see.
Yeah. so, but I think we all ought to put together some things, any ideas that all of us have. Kind of put them together, and here's our list.
Because I do feel not having that part-time guy.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I'm feeling.
And not just for, you've been blessed to have somebody that could drive a truck, but in a roller and
Yeah, right.
and other stuff, and so, yeah. So anyway, we gotta get started at that. Well, I don't think, if I remember right, Lowell, we were probably like closer to September before we started meeting, weren't we? So, I will acknowledge her. And
No,
you guys copies.
They send a letter, something stating what they want before the meeting.
They usually hand it to us at the time, if I remember right.
Okay.
We exchange, whatever they call it. Wish list, demands, whatever. I guess. Then you start through each line item. Some of them you can sign off as you go because no one has an issue with it. But then other areas,
I just been hearing bits and rumors about it, so,
from the crew, anything good?
Said something about cell phone, they want more money on the cell phone
I
bill.
heard that.
Well, obviously Dick pointed out more money.
More money and
Well, that's what,
benefits.
that's what it all comes down to in the end.
Probably probably,
pretty much.
probably,
But there's also diminished accountability, that is where you have disciplinary action and then it evaporates in 6 months rather than 2 years. For some, so you build a disciplinary record, then it's not, it can't be considered after 2 years or something. There's those kinds of diminished accountability that they want that. And then merchant marine, because, you get drunk, well, shit, it's a bad thing. But it's a bad thing anytime you're responsible for something, but then, you get drunk again in 2 years, well, then the first one doesn't matter. You know, things like that. That's things that these people want. I mean, that's they gotta go back to their people that they're charging, I don't know, what they're paying in a year, several $100s.
Say, look what I did for you.
Yeah, sure. And I would assume they would be canvassing their men. This woman probably has quite a few different.
Oh, yeah, but, you know, on the other hand,
But-
I think at the last one, well, some of the stuff they asked for, we knew damn well our crew had never brought that up.
Right.
So, the union comes and we're gonna ask for this, and,
Yeah.
well, was there anything you guys want? So,
Well, our shoes are $150. I guess that stays the same. There's no escalator in that. We know there's inflation. I see the front paper today, it was 5.4%, highest since,
40
I
years.
don't know, 40 years or something, I think. Hard to believe since Carter, but anyway, yeah, about 40 years, yeah. Maybe interest rates will go to 13. But anyway, I know when I was in the merchant marine, we had shoes, but the shoe had it had a fixed rate, but it went up with an escalator. Count for inflation, meaning make us whole, the rest of you will make us whole, so inflation doesn't hurt us. So anyway.
All right, I'll get copies, you two have got them.
I have, yeah, I'll have to take it up.
Put down some things, if you need another one, Eric, let me know. And we can start jotting some things down that we think we ought to ask to change. And we can go from there. Which,
Can I see that?
certainly,
There's some stuff in there I haven't I haven't changed it.
yep. Yeah, we want your,
If it's all right.
we want your input. Be saying, so before I forget, as we said, the copier, the old copier now says replace toner cartridge, which you remember Rhonda said
It'll be $500,
yeah,
so I'm not ordering it.
so we're out of toner.
So you can't make copies, or it's the last? You can still make them, but it's eventually gonna just
It
collapse.
doesn't want to feed stuff for you and make copies.
We need a motion to
For the
purchase a new
Well,
copier.
or at least to look at one. I guess you can make some on that, on
Yeah,
your
it's pretty
printer, right?
limited, yeah.
Have you gotten any quotes from anyone?
I just simply, the only thing I've done is ask Leanne, and they purchased one. They purchased the printer, and then they pay a maintenance plan. They're very happy with that because they don't have to touch anything.
When you say printer, you mean copy?
Or, I'm sorry, copier, yeah, a copier. They purchased a copier, just purchased that, and then they also purchased I'm sorry,
Did
the
they
maintenance
lease?
plan.
Did they lease?
No,
Did they purchase it?
bought it, yes.
And then buy a
And
maintenance
then they
plan.
bought a
buy a
maintenance
service
plan
contract.
with that.
You know, I did some work for Dave 2 years ago with Canasteel. They were very happy with one. Got one for about $1,000.
That's what Volca pays, about
Amazon.
$1,000, and then you just pay
And
for the fees.
I asked him after a year, I said, how's it worked out? Oh, not a much of trouble, so.
To be honest, I think Leanne said they got theirs on Amazon. I was gonna call Nancy. Nancy Moyer is my other contact person in South Dansville, very similar. I was gonna see what they do, just to kind of get an idea. We'll have to do something.
So we ought to check that stuff, get some options.
Yeah.
You might even find if Dave had a copier file in there, you might, I got it for him twice, I know, from Canasteel. It might be in there someplace. They're very happy.
Theirs was Amazon and about $1,000.
There was Amazon, $1,000, and they had somehow you could hook to internet too, that you can, I mean, you can print from your computer, I guess, or I don't know. That's,
Yeah, a lot of the new ones you can do that.
They can, so, You can get a fax.
Okay.
Maybe we get rid of our $3 fax
Well, now that we got a damn near, well, we still have to have a fax.
on it. Yeah, we get a fax. Yeah, anyway.
Now we got a new fax machine.
Is there a scan?
Years ago.
Or
Yeah,
scan
that's
as
what
well?
died.
It's supposed to scan. I've talked to our IT guy a lot. Anything I have to scan the email, I have to do from home because I cannot make the scanner work here. I don't know what the deal is. So maybe something new will give us better service.
All right, we'll look at the copiers and give you some options. Lee Highway Department.
We've been filling some potholes around town, hauling gravel on Hammer Creek, also grading roads. Carter, Peanutty, Burtville, top of Hammer Creek was graded. Windfall. The roadside mowing has ended for the first go around. The second go around will be in August. Hopefully, we'll have 2 mowers going in August instead of 1, so that way we get everything cut back like it was last year. Get it back cleaned up. I'm gonna have to have some backhoe tires for that backhoe. Eric, did you get a chance to look at that today?
Yeah.
The tires are bad on it, the bucket's getting bad on it. 2 options. It's up for a buyback plan. So we can go ahead and trade it off, or we get a new bucket, or a tire store. I have no idea how much the tires will be. So it could range from 1,500 to 25, I don't know. So, because I can't hang a bill on my backhoe and wear it like that on the back tires, so. Once I get the quotes, I think probably we move forward with that, or you want to just go ahead and say we get tires, or what?
I think we ought to stay right on that buyback program.
How many hours are on it?
834?
34, 834.
And how much is that an hour?
I think it's 15.
So that takes that up to about 2,500, 25,000. Sorry, I missed a zero.
That goes 2 years old.
So, and I'd say,
Get the bucket, get a quotes on the bucket and the tire and bring them.
I'm thinking that, I don't remember how I bought it.
Did you say, when you talked about this 3 months ago, it's like 4 in 1 bucket, right?
Yes, it is.
And then we talked today, it was about, you said about 7.
Between 7,000 and 8,000 for a new bucket. You know what happened, when they started doing that, they cut the old bucket off with another backhoe, and they never changed the backhoe out.
So the company
The
just
bucket out
ordered
with
a
the
standard bucket and plumbing and switch buckets.
So it's our old bucket.
Who's for?
I think it's been through, I think this is for,
Whose product?
Yeah, it seems like.
I'm not sure. I don't know. It's not cat.
It seems awful short.
It's not cat.
it's been 25 years for.
That's for a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I don't.
If we get a new.
Right.
Well,
If you don't.
I mean, that runs all the
Don't.
time. I wear shoes off. So.
Yeah, I realize it.
Oh, absolutely. I know your road.
Yeah.
I already went down that road.
I mean-
put a skim sheet of metal underneath the bucket, or the front bucket of it, and patched it up this spring, so. It's getting thin. But that was for a cat bucket, the 7 or 8 grand. That was for a cat bucket that comes with the machine. Like Lowell just said, you might be able to pick another bucket up for less. I'm sure you can.
So, I mean, I think there's those are 2 options, maybe there's a third one. In that, again, it's a discussion we need to have as a board, what are we gonna do with something like that backhoe or the loader that are on a buyback system? And, are we gonna go to not going down that road in the future and buy one and run it, whatever we figure the useful life is, 8, 10 years or whatever, and then sell it and buy a new one? So I think that's maybe at the time if you come back to us in August with the pricing, we also ought to talk about that too, because
Well, we need
If we're-
firm figures to make a
well,
decision.
obviously, that's why I said come back, and then the other thing is, if you're gonna keep it and run it out, would we be smarter starting with a new machine? And then run it out 10 years? But set up that plan for, I guess not planned obsolescence, but planned useful life of that machine.
Warranty is that the 3-year warranty on that?
Well, I think it was 2.
But at least if you started a new one, you could probably get an extended warranty.
Right, when you got the 2, your buyback, you were just planning on having 2 years, right? So you just got a 2-year warranty.
Well, that's what.
No, that's what came with it.
You don't,
Yeah,
They didn't offer up any other
No, I
options.
you don't choose your warranty, they say, this is it.
This is just what the warranty
Maybe a
is.
negotiation, but,
It was 2 years. It was a 2-year buyback.
So,
But then the salesman came to me and said, we gotta put all our buyback stuff on a 3-year plan now, because what was happening, they were getting flooded. The market was getting flooded. So everybody was doing it, and they were trading them off every 2 years, and they were sending half the machines out to overseas somewhere. And that's why everything's free.
he also said the price would be the same, right? Am I not thinking of the right one?
Yeah.
So,
I
anyway,
have to, no, I don't know when that quote was, I gave you guys 28,000, I think it was, off the top of my head. But that was with a new bucket, new machine. But I have to get a hold of Ricky next week and see if that price has gone up or what. And that was what, 4 months ago, I gave it to you, 3 months ago?
in the spring.
So I'll get some quotes for tires and that kind of thing for August and see how it goes. Oil and stone. Weather related. Been knocked back 3 times now in the last month. So now it's 27th, 28th, 29th. If it doesn't rain in the next week and a half. If it rains for 2 days and we can't go, it knocks us back, it'll be another 2-3 days, so. So eventually, hopefully they'll get here in August, I hope. So. I met Bruce, he said he only did 9 miles in the last 2 weeks, and that was up in East County, so. Good little rain.
I'd like to make a comment, going down to 1.25 inches stone, 1.5 inches. The roads that we've done this year, back down nicer. I think that's a very wide move to do.
You're gonna have the crushing bill here tonight for $72,000. Right?
How are you making out with the, are you still supply?
I got probably 11,000 ton left.
Where? Most of it's over there.
Everything out of this one is done. Maybe I'll just about, other than maybe 500 ton. But about 11,000 left in houses. So it does make a difference on that smaller size. It really does. I think it helps. So you're gonna have a bill for 72,500. That's for the crushing. That's 25,000 tons. Right? Then you're gonna have another bill for 17. Or no, I'm sorry.